What's going on, YouTube fam? Hopefully everybody's doing well. My name is Kenny. If you are coming back to this channel, welcome back to the crib, big baby. Yes, as always, certainly good to see you. If this is your first time, you got good taste. Yeah, you do. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. Listen, let's help us take care of some business. Hit that subscribe button. This will obviously help us get in front of a larger audience and, of course, grow the channel. Let's do a combo. When you hit subscribe, also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when Uncle Kenny's got some fresh content for you to check out. Make sure you connect it to your smartphone so no matter where you are, you'll get that ding saying, hey, Kenny's got a new video. Go check it out. All right. And again, I appreciate you being here. Nice to meet you. Good to see you as well. At the time of this recording, July the 7th, 2021, 9 a.m. Eastern time, as always, depending on where you are and when you watch this particular video. Good morning, good afternoon, maybe even good night. Certainly appreciate you being here. As you can see in the subject, Building Business Credit Part 2, what's in my wallet? All right, I've had so many requests to do a second video on building business credit. I know we did one early on when we first started the channel, so we'll dive into that again. First, let me say this, guys. This channel is just not about being in a box truck. That's great. It is certainly motivating to see that. Seeing trucks on the road, how much money they're making, that's encouraging, right? I love to see it. I've mentioned this before. I watch a lot of other videos, and I really enjoy seeing that. But, sometimes when you show the end and not the beginning, I think you lose value. So this channel, number one, we have grown folks conversation, right? Grown conversation, things that can help elevate and grow your business. So again, we're going to talk about business credit, building business credit part 2, and what's in my wallet. All right, let's jump in. So the first thing I want to talk about, and again, guys, I may have mentioned this in one of the previous videos. You can go back and check it out. I don't know everything at all. Okay. In most cases, I just share with you guys what I did and what were the consequences of what I did. Not saying that I did something right or that I did something wrong. Doesn't mean I'm better or worse. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. It's just what I did. And I don't mind sharing that. Okay. So I want to put that out there first. So 2 different types of credit: personal credit, business credit. And the only thing they have in common is if you don't pay back, it's going to hurt you, period. That's what they have in common. Other than that, totally different. Let's talk about personal credit first. Three bureaus that determine your FICO score: Equifax, Experience, and TransUnion. Okay. The way you build credit on the personal side is similar to the way you're going to build business credit for your business. When you were born into this world, you were issued a SSN, right? A social security number, and eventually had a social security card. And everything that you do is attached to that social security number. So if you do something good, it's attached. Something bad, it's attached. I remember very young age, I wanted to buy my first car. Now we talking many, many years ago, many years ago. And I remember going to my dad and I said, Dad, I want a car. He says, okay, what you thinking? You want to buy a pre-owned car? You want to buy a new car? Well, I wanted a new car. I wanted that shiny red Camaro back in the day. And my dad says, okay, how you going to pay for it? I said, what do you mean? He said, how you going to pay for it? They don't just give them away. I said, well, Dad, I was thinking maybe you and Mom can help. He says, nothing wrong to think, but that ain't how it's going down. So I had to go get a job. I was working at a grocery store and sacking groceries, taking it to people's car. I was working. And what my dad did say, however, is that whatever you save, I'll match it. Me and Mom will match whatever you save. So I believe I may have saved up $2,500. And it took me a while because I wasn't making a lot of money, and he gave me $2,500. So I had a total of $5,000. And I will say this, family, it was tough to let that $5,000 go because I'd never seen that amount of money in my life. And it was in my bank account. It's like, man, but I wanted that shiny Camaro. Yeah. You guys remember the IROC Z28? I didn't get the IROC. I just got the Z28. And I think it was a RS, a Rally Sport. I think is what they would call an RS Camaro back in the day. I'm telling my age now. But anyway, at the time, I think the car was $14,000, brand new. And I had $5,000, right? So I was financing $9,000. No credit established. I'm what they call a ghost, meaning you got a social security number, but there's no activity. So obviously I needed a cosigner. My dad co-signed. Came with a long speech though. And one of the things he told me is that make sure you pay your bill on time. Matter of fact, let me back up. He said, don't pay it on time. I'm like, huh? He said, pay it early. And I made all my payments early, and I'm establishing credit. Now he's a co-signer, and I paid that car off. So that did a couple things for me. Number one, it taught me responsibility, that nobody's going to give you anything. You got to work hard. And listen, that's the right way to do it, in my opinion. And it means something to you. You know, when you worked your butt off and you've earned something, in my opinion, I'm preaching. But that's how I did it. And so I started establishing credit, personal credit. We hadn't gotten to the business side yet, personal credit. And by the time I paid that car off, remember I paid all the payments early, not on time. I now have a FICO score, which is the score that matters. When you're ready to buy your first home, car, FICO score is what they're going to be looking at. If you're buying a home, they're going to take your mid score, not your highest, not your lowest, the mid score, to determine your eligibility. Did I say that right? Eligibility to purchase that home. And I think, I don't know what it is now. At one point, FHA was a 620. Conventional, you needed to have a 700 plus. And when the pandemic hit, they had all these overlays, meaning that most companies required a 640 or 650 or above. We're getting off pace. And so that's kind of how FICO scores work. So you need to have a good FICO score. And so when I paid that car off, I had a pretty decent FICO score. And so now I'm in the credit game. Now, to be honest, I wasn't always smart nor disciplined with utilizing credit. You know, I would get all these credit cards, have all these inquiries on my credit. And back then, I didn't know what inquiries meant. But inquiries hurt you in a couple of ways. Number one, you look desperate to creditors. And you have a lot of inquiries. Now, one inquiry is not going to pull your credit down. When you start to get a lot of them, it will start to affect your credit score. And if you're trying to get a particular credit card, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Chase, I believe it's either Chase or Capital One. They got what they call the 524 rule, meaning you can't have more than 5 new accounts open within the last 2 years. Doesn't matter what your score is. They're not going to give you a credit card. Guys, go fact check me. I think that's correct. I always say on this channel, I'm okay with being wrong if we get accurate information out to the viewers of the channel. So if I'm wrong on that, respectfully correct me in the comment. What does that mean? Kenny, you stupid. No, man. That's not respectful. Just say, no, Kenny, here's what I was able to find out. And then let's put that out there because we want people to get the right information. It's not about me being right. We want to make sure we get you all accurate, correct information. But I believe that's how I work, either for Chase or Capital One. I don't work for any of these companies, guys. I'm just talking about my experience, what I've been through. So inquiries can hurt you in several ways. All right. So just keep that in mind. You got to be smart, disciplined in your decision-making process. I always say that, right? So, but yeah, I mean, I was just racking up these inquiries. I mean, I was being stupid. I didn't understand how credit worked. That's important. You got to understand how credit works. So, for example, if, you know, you've got a $2,000 credit limit on your credit card, guys, we're still on the personal side. We're going to get to business. If you go spend $1,000 and you got $2,000 credit limit available to you, it's going to drive your credit score down. You hadn't been late on a payment now, but you've used 50% of your available credit. And on the personal side, that's bad, right? You say, well, man, Kenny, if I want to spend $1,000, I'm going to be dinged for it. Well, the best way to do it is get you a $20,000 credit limit. Now that $1,000 is not going to affect you. You're under that 8 to 9% to your utilization for your available credit. So, yeah, you can be dinged for using a personal credit card, depending on how you use it. Again, I didn't know this. You got to know how credit works. I was just applying, man. I was like addicted. I would go and just click apply, and every time I would see approved, I would just be as happy as I don't know. I mean, I'm like, wow, I was addicted to just applying for credit cards. And until I started getting declined. And I would go look at the reason. You've applied for too many accounts, too many inquiries, whatever the case may be. And so I got to fix this, because ultimately I wanted the American Express. Not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong. I don't work for American Express, not telling you what to do. You may say, hey, excuse me, Kenny, this is a better car. This is what I wanted for me. Doesn't make me better or worse. Just make me me, right? I wanted to get to American Express, but I did it the wrong way. I didn't know what the requirements were for me to get American Express, right? So I'm just making all these mistakes. And as I grew older, I was still making these mistakes because there's nobody telling me that these are mistakes, right? So I kept going in that same cycle. And one day, somebody educated me. And so now I'm going to try to educate you all on what I think to be true, at least what I've did and the results of it. That makes sense? So I defaulted on some things. Credit went down, credit went back up, credit went down. I even reached out to some credit repair companies. Let me say this about credit repair companies. For me, waste of time and money. For me, you may have had a different outcome. But what I will say is that everybody's credit is different and unique. But it was a waste of time and money. I'm not a credit expert, but I fixed my own credit. If that word apply, fix. In short, pay your bills on time. Don't overextend yourself. You'll be okay. Now, things happen. Things happen to good people. And we just got to deal with it, fix it when we can fix it. But a lot of times, guys, it's self-inflicted. Sometimes we know, and sometimes we don't know, right? But if you pay your bills on time, don't overextend yourself. Don't go buy a $50,000 car and you make $30,000 a year. Okay? Not telling you what to do. I'm just sharing my thoughts, my opinion, and what I've done. So when I started my first business, this load of transportation is not the first business. Communication for over 3 decades, real estate, media consulting firm. So when I started my business, I did like most people. I didn't have a business name. I didn't have an EIN number. I'm saying, hey man, send me a cash app. I'll hook you up. Now it benefited me in the pocket, but it didn't do anything to grow my business. So I had to change my thinking process. I had to start thinking business. So my media consulting firm set it up as a business. Now, before you can build business credit, we got to have a business. What is that? Got to come up with a business name. You got to register with the state, EIN number. Then you go and start your business checking account. Business website, business phone number, business email address. Got to be in business. Register with the Better Business Bureau. People can find you in the search engine on Google. Business. Now, when I say business email address, that does not mean boxtruckkenny@gmail.com. That's perfect for YouTube. But for business, we'll say this as an example because it's not my business email. We'll just say kenny@loaduptransportation.com. That might be it. That's business, right? Once you have all of that established, now you got to start figuring out how to establish some business credit. And again, for me, the ultimate was the American Express. We'll get to that in a minute as a why. But you don't start a business on Monday and you get the American Express if that's what you're trying to do on day 2. Right? It doesn't work like that. I don't work for American Express, by the way. They're probably going to love me after this video, though. So anyway, just like I did for my car, I had to start building some positive activity on my credit. Same thing for your business, trade lines, what we call tier 1 accounts or vendors, Uline, Quill, Granger. These companies will extend new business credit, whether that be net 30, net 60, or net 90 account. Some cases may only be net 15. How does that work? Let's say you go to Uline and you go on there and you buy some straps or something for your truck, maybe a pallet jack. They'll invoice you, and now they're going to give you a limit on to how much they will extend you credit for the 30 days, 90 days, 60, or even, like I say, maybe just 15. You pay them back. They report. Now you got some business activity or a vendor reporting on your business credit. Okay, let's go back. You have a SSN, that's your social security number, that's on the personal side. EIN, okay, that's on the business side. Those should be separate. And so now you have a vendor reporting on your credit bureau. Now, make sure you spend at least $50. If you spend $10, $15, they're not going to report that. So spend at least $50 and do not spend, guys, no more than you can afford to spend. That makes sense? Okay. They will report. Before you sign up with any of these companies, and there's more than the ones that I just named, you want to call and ask them 3 questions. Do you report to the business bureaus? How often do you report? And who do you report to? You got that? And if they say they don't report, well, you don't need that account because it's not going to do you any good in terms of business credit. We talked about Experience, Equifax, TransUnion. On the business side, there's Experience Business, Equifax Business, and Dun & Bradstreet. I need to go back. You need to apply for your DUNS number too, by the way. It's free. They'll try to upsell you on some stuff that, in my opinion, you don't need, but that's up to you. And so when you're applying for credit, sometimes they will ask you for your DUNS number. Okay? Now when you start getting positive activity reported to your business credit, that will generate what they call a Paydex score. Remember, on the personal side, we talked about the FICO score. On the business side, we have what they call a Paydex score. Once you get, I believe, 80 to 90, you're pretty good. Now, does 80 to 90 means you can go out and buy a brand new truck for your company? Yes and no. You can, but you're still going to make a healthy down payment on that, unless you're going to PG it. In most cases, you will probably have to still PG it. What does PG mean? Personal guarantees. Kind of like when my dad helped me get my car, he co-signed. Well, you will be asked to co-sign for your business, a personal guarantor. So if you default, they're going to come to you personally. Can you avoid that? Yeah, but it takes some time. How old is your business? Do you have some tax returns on your business? Answer is no. It's going to be pretty hard. So again, you got to start taking steps. Those 3 accounts that I gave you, and there's other accounts that you can get as well that will extend, no matter what your credit is, some net 30, 60, 90s, and maybe 15 accounts. Pay back, start generating business credit. Then you can elevate to what I like to call tier 2 accounts. That may be your, maybe your fuel cards, your Shells and your Chevrons and your, Exxon Mobils and your BP, your Fuel Man, things like that nature. Again, do you report? Who do you report to? How often do you report? You want to ask those questions. They will also report. Okay. You also want to be able to see if they are reporting. And you can sign up with a company called NAV. Go to nav.com. I don't remember what they cost. It's not expensive, but you'll be able to see all 3 credit scores, business credit scores, as we mentioned a minute ago. Equifax Business, Experience Business, and Dun & Bradstreet. You'll be able to see, because when you apply for credit, you don't know who they're going to pull. Are they going to pull all 3, or are they going to pull one or the other? You want your business Paydex score to look good for all 3 of those business credit bureaus. Does that make sense? So do you report? Who do you report to? How often do you report? Once you get your fuel cards and you've made payments and they've reported, and guys, this takes some time. It's not going to happen in 1 week. Then you elevate to tier 3. Now you're looking at some of your bank cards. Whomever you bank with may extend you some business line of credit or a credit card. And you go from there. And then you expand from there. What did Uncle Kenny do? Uncle Kenny did exactly what I just told. Well, what I am saying I did is what could work for you, not telling you to do it. I started with Uline, Quill, Granger. I elevated to the Shell. I even had a secure Shell card. They didn't even approve me for a regular one, unsecured. Then I got an unsecured. Then I went to the Exxon. BP, and I think I mentioned this in some of my other videos. Then my bank gave me 2 business credit cards, one for my consulting firm, one for the trucking company. And then I elevated to what I've always wanted to elevate to. You remember? American Express. Yeah. Now, let me say this about American Express. I don't work for American Express. I'm not telling you to get an American Express. I'm not telling you not to get an American Express. What I am telling you is what I always say. What works for me may not work for you. Probably won't work for you. Why did I choose to go with American Express? Well, for my company, especially my media consulting firm, it requires me to travel, guys, a lot. I'm always traveling. And because I have to go visit these clients. What does media consulting mean? So we consult radio stations, television stations, to help them grow their brand in whatever way they need it. And obviously they pay us to do that. But they may be in Texas, they may be in California, they may be in Arizona, they may be in New York. They could be anywhere. I have to go and visit these clients. And so I was doing a lot of traveling. So I host a lot of dinners, stay in a lot of hotels. What credit card, in my opinion, would help me? And for me, American Express. The other thing for me with American Express, it says one thing, in my opinion. I'm going to have about 100 people who disagree with me on it, and that's fine. As I said, we're different. You're going to do something totally different. I'm going to do something totally different from you. Doesn't make me better or worse. Doesn't make you better or worse. We just do it differently. So, but it also says prestige. When you pull out that AMX, man, that's, to me, prestige. Now, guess how many personal American Express cards I have? Did I do that right? 0. Have none. None whatsoever. I mean, I didn't see the benefit in having a personal American Express. But I see a great benefit in having a business American Express. So I told you how I elevated to it. The first American Express, by the way, they declined me at least, and I'm not over-exaggerating, at least 15, 20 times. I mean, they just said, no, I don't even know why you're asking, man. Wasn't doing it. And I kept looking back at my credit, and my score's not that bad. But I had a lot of inquiries, and I had a lot of new accounts, and so in their eyes, I'm overextended. But I told you, I'm just applying, and I'm really not using these cards. I would use them just enough to keep them active because some accounts that you've had 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years looks great, right? So you want to keep those open. But American Express just wouldn't do it. So I just kept on building business credit, kept on business. But what I did do, guys, I never paid my bills on time. You probably, I never paid my bills on time. Matter of fact, I would tell my team that worked for me is in media, on time is late. You ever turn 10 o'clock news on, there's nobody there? On time is late. And I believe the same when it comes to credit. I pay mine early, 10 days early. When it posts, I go pay it immediately, the entire balance. Personal, a little different. I might leave $2 owed. That helps your credit. Another story. But anyway, I kept doing that, and credit was looking good. I let some of those inquiries fall off. I didn't pay anybody. I did it myself. And I said, let me try American Express again. This time, and I'm applying with my business, I tried to get a co-brand American Express. The Amazon, I believe, the Amazon co-brand American Express. Now, I'm in the system. I'm with American Express now. And paid them immediately. I used it, paid them immediately. So then, now once you are a part of American Express, you may or may not have known this. You can apply with your EIN number only, no credit check, boom. And they'll give you a decision within 60 seconds. So I don't have one American Express for my business. I don't have 2. I don't have 3. I don't have 4. I have 5. 5. Remember, I couldn't get one for years. 5. 5 of them. Started with the Amazon co-brand American Express. Went up to the Green Business American Express. Gold Business American Express. Platinum. That's 4. No. So Co-brand, Amazon, American Express. Green Business, American Express. Gold Business, American Express. I can't come. I got the blue American Express. I think it's the cash reward blue business. I can't remember the name of it. And of course, now I got the platinum. So that's 5 American Express cards. I'm happy. But here's the thing. You can choose a pay over time option with some of the American Expresses, not all of them, because they're really more charge cards than they are credit card. Meaning if you charge $10,000, whenever that payment is due, they need $10,000, right? So never use more than you can afford to pay back. All right. But I have 5. And why do I have 5? Well, as I mentioned, travel a lot. That platinum card, man, it has some great benefits. Now, some people will say, well, I don't like the annual fees on some of those cards. Well, depending on how you use it, but I certainly understand. If you don't use these cards and you hit with an annual fee, some maybe almost $600. I think the platinum, depending on when you try to get it, I think it was $600. For me, it wasn't that much. But if you don't use them, then that may not be the right card for you. And which is going to bring me to my next information. Our next, what do I want to say? Here's what I would advise you of. Get the card that's best for you and your business. May not be American Express. That just works best for me. Prestige, travel, allows me to do what I need to do. I get rewards, I get points. Most of my flights now, in most cases, are paid for by points. I have access to all the lounges in the airport. This may not mean anything to you. You may not want that. But I enjoy those things. And so it works for me, may not work for you. So that's what I did and where I am now in terms of business credit. Now, I didn't get there overnight, guys. Remember, I don't know if you go back and look at some of my previous videos, I started building business credit immediately after I started my company. And I'm not talking about the trucking company. My media consulting firm, it's been around for years. And I immediately started building business credit. And now I will say, all of those American Expresses, none of them are in load up transportation. They're all in my consulting firm. Will I get one for load up transportation? I don't know. At the end of the day, when you do your taxes, it's going to all be under one. So I don't know if I need it, right? But yeah, that was what I wanted to do. Now, as it pertains to where I am with my truck, that wasn't even in the subject to talk about. It is in the shop. I should be getting an update today. I know it's going to cost me probably anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 to get it repaired. That's fine. I kind of expected that. And then what do I want to do? We know I'm not driving it, right? Unless I absolutely have to. A lot of stuff has got to go wrong for me to actually be in the truck and drive. Not that I think I'm too good to drive. Not that I don't like driving. I just believe if you can involve yourself in multiple things that can generate you multiple streams of revenue, that's the way to go, in my opinion. And so I'm still working in my other companies and doing other things. And I don't want to disrupt that. If it's making money, you want to keep making that money, right? So do I want to put somebody in the truck to drive for me? Or do I want to lease my truck out? Those are pretty much my options at this point in time. I've got an offer to rent it. Matter of fact, yesterday someone sent me an offer to rent my truck for $1,000 for 2 weeks. I declined it. Number one, the truck is in the shop. But number two, I felt like I could get more. There's a high demand for these box trucks right now. So once I get it out the shop, I will probably lease it on or rent it out. I'm sorry. And the company, one of them is called Coop, I think. And they're linked up with Ryder. And when someone rented, it's under their authority, their insurance. It's just like renting from Budget or Ryder or, whomever, Penske, the same scenario. They've got roadside assistance. So if something happens to the truck, they get it sent to the shop. If it's something on that driver's end, tires is what I see in most cases, they get that taken care of at no cost to you. Now, if it's wear and tear, they're going to tow it and tell you what it's going to cost to get it repaired. And you can say, okay, or you can say, let's tow it over here and I'll get it repaired there. That's kind of how that works. Does it make more money than what you would make if you were driving that truck, or even put a driver in yourself? Absolutely not. But what it does, it works for me because it does pay for the truck note, the insurance, and my storage fee where I keep this truck at the truck yard. And it still gives me a decent profit. So now it's making me money as opposed to costing me money. Not telling you to do that, but those are my options and what I'm looking at. When I get the truck out of the shop, that's probably what I'm going to do. And so if you guys need more information on that, send me an email, drop a line in the comment, and I will respond. Yeah, and that's all I got. I hope that has helped. I was kind of all over the place, but anytime, guys, my contact information is in the description below. We're over 30 minutes. I want to wrap this video up, but you can reach out to me via phone, email, comment. Now, if you send me something in the comments and it requires a lengthy response, I'm probably going to ask that you call me so I can make sure I'm addressing all of your questions. Okay? If I missed something, if I skipped over something, a lot of times I don't write everything down. So sometimes I'll be going off the top of this. And sometimes I miss stuff when I'm going off the top of this. So, but yeah, guys, just remember, I say it at the end of all of my videos, you got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. You can't just freestyle. You can get your hat brought to you. You got to have a plan. I mean, my truck in the shop and I haven't made $1 with it, costing me $3,000, and I'm paying a truck note and insurance and all the other expenses. If I wasn't prepared for that, guy, it could put me out of business, right? So you got to be prepared before you come out of here. Yeah, you got to have some money. That's got to be a part of your planning and your research. You got to save some money if you're buying. Even if you're renting, you got to have some reserves. There's no way around it. So that's why I always say be patient, be disciplined, and have a plan. And success will be the only outcome, in my opinion. Tough times don't last forever. Tough people always do. Money does not come with instructions. So again, you got to be smart in your decision-making process. Have a plan. Be disciplined. Be patient. You'll be okay. You got a lot of resources. Don't make YouTube the only resource. Reach out to people. Call. Ask questions. And you'll be okay. All righty. I will try to talk to you guys soon. Make it a great day. Hit that subscribe button. That really helps. I appreciate your support. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when there is some new content for you to check out. All right. Take care. Talk to you soon.